probably have an old laptop that looks something like this. Old, dusty, from, I don't know, 15 years ago. Doesn't work very well. Well, I'm going to show you how to bring this baby back to life. Like Darth Vader from Star Wars or the Mountain from Game of Thrones. We're going to get this thing up and running and badass as ever. You're only going to need two things to achieve this. Small USB with about 8 gigabytes and a bit of competence. Before you get started, if you have anything valuable stored on that laptop, make sure you get it on an external hard drive, store it in the cloud, put it somewhere, because we're going to be wiping this baby clean. Now, most of you probably use Windows or Apple. Today we're using cheap and cheerful Linux. I know a lot of you thinking like, oh no, free stuff, but it's actually pretty good, and you'll be able to run your crypto mine or your gaming hub or whatever you want from this. So we're going to boot up Antix Linux. This is like a super lightweight Linux distribution. Check out the website, go to downloads, and check out the full ISO, get the latest version, download it, and away you go. So basically this .iso file is going to be an image that we put on our USB that we plug into our old laptop and we use it to boot up our new operating system. Before we do that, make sure to format your USB, and to get the image onto the USB, if you're using Windows, I highly recommend using software called Rufus. And now with the click of a few buttons, we've got our ISO image on our USB. Now all we need to do is plug it into our old laptop and install our new operating system. I've never used Antix Linux before, so this is quite exciting for me to check this out. This next step is going to depend a lot on your laptop that you're using and how it was running before. But a lot of machines you can just smash F2 or F11 or one of the F2, F11 buttons, and it'll get you up to BIOS. You have to do this at the moment you boot up. You just have to smash your keyboard, smash, smash, smash. And get that BIOS open. You have to go to your boot settings and make sure that your USB is the first selection on the bootload options. Another thing you're going to want to do is check out if you're running in legacy mode, if that's enabled. Since it's an old laptop, you probably won't have secure boot, but you might, so make sure that's disabled as well. Alright, now that we got all of that BIOS stuff out of the way and you've Googled your way through that nightmare, alright, save and exit and restart. Now your laptop will boot up to a live image that's on your little USB, and basically go through the installation setup instructions and you'll get this thing set up. Make sure not to partition your hard drive, which is dividing your hard drive in two. You want to take up the whole thing with the new operating system. Okay, so I'm just going to start it up. Already the boot time is much faster. I don't know if you guys can see that, but we're just loading up. Okay, so the first test I'm going to put this through is I'm going to install OBS, and that's like some free screen recording software. And it'll be a good test in terms of the speed of this thing, because there's no way this would have ran smoothly on Windows. Alright, I've got it recording now. And you can see here on the side some of the CPU usage, only 20%, that's pretty good. At the moment we're dealing with an Intel dual core, so yeah, it only has dual core, and I can show you guys what we're dealing with. HTOP, you can see that we've only got about 3.8 gigabytes of memory of RAM, and we're dealing with 2 cores, and they're only running at 20% each, so that's not so bad considering we're recording. We do have some more swap memory. We have about 5 gigabytes of that, so that's good. And yeah, Antix is looking pretty nice. It's a very old school 90s look to it. But I mean, if you're a Windows user and you're just trying to get more life out of your laptop, maybe this is a good way to go. I mean, you've got all your stuff here. It looks a little bit different, a little bit dated, but you know, you've got ad block. I mean, yeah, sure. Some multimedia stuff. To really test this thing out and see how it runs, let's try out a game on it. So remember now that we have our screen capture running, so that's going to eat into performance a little bit. But I pre-installed Zero AD, which is this open source game, kind of like Age of Empires, and it's pretty intensive on the graphics, so let's see how it handles it. We've got an ATI Radeon graphics card, so yeah, not too bad for its time, but it is from 2009, so I'll just put a 2-player one just to give it a fair chance. And you can see here there's a bit of spike in the CPU load. That's to be expected. And yeah, it runs pretty okay. I need a mouse for this actually. And yeah, I can't say it's not too bad. It's definitely playable. Probably with some graphical changes you could get it running nice and smooth. Yeah, no complaints here. This is a little bit of frame drop, but nothing too bad considering now what we're dealing with. And we do have the screen recording happening as well, so I think that without that going, I think this would run just fine actually. Yeah, so that's that. It's a cool little game for you guys to check out too if you're interested. And there you go. That's how to get more life out of an old laptop. If you guys have any ideas of what I should do with this now, because actually now that I have it running smoothly, I'm thinking maybe throw some crypto mining on there, or try some wacky stuff that I would not be happy to do on my main laptop. And let me know how you guys get on if you try to install in Linux. Yeah, it's just better than Windows. Do it.